Fabio Quartararo then lines up on pole position. He's making a habit of this, isn't he, in MotoGP? That's his 8th pole in the Premier class. His first, of course, coming here last year.
A front row in his last 9. He is the qualifying king in many respects of MotoGP. Highlights in the hair. A few highlights in last weekend's race for him as well. Can he repeat it? He would be only the 6th French rider in Grand Prix history across all classes to win back-to-back races. Nobody's ever done it in MotoGP before.
Yeah, and Yamaha have waited a long time for back-to-back victories as well, haven't they?
Yeah, who was that? Vinales, wasn't it?
Yes,
Qatar and Argentina, 2017, yeah. That was as good as it got that year for Maverick, pretty much.
Here is Pecco Bagnaia then, the Pramac Racing Ducati man. 3rd on the grid, his best ever qualifying. 7th here last week from 4th on the grid. And a good grid position as well for his former Moto2 rival, Miguel Oliveira. We've got the camera on board here with Jerome Poncharal, brother to Hervé, of course. KTMs, keep an eye on them today. Really excited about what the likes of Oliveira, Binder and Polispargo can do today.
Quite funny, isn't it, when you look at the grid and you look at manufacturers with more than 2 bikes on that grid. Fabio Quartararo, top Yamaha. Miguel Oliveira, top KTM. Taka Nakagami, top Honda. And Pecco Bagnaia, top Ducati. All from independent teams. Out qualifying their sort of more favoured factory rivals, shall we say.
Yeah, good point.
What it shows, of course, is the incredible level of support that the independent teams get from their manufacturers. The field has never been so deep in terms of talent from the riders and certainly the technical competitiveness. Maverick Vinales just trying to find a safe passage through to the front row of the grid.
Yeah, somewhere on that grid is our good buddy Simon Crafar as well, and I imagine he's baking.
Sweltering down there now, isn't it? Absolutely cooking.
It's absolutely roasting. The good news is there's barely a breath of wind, which is super important because wind here, as we've seen in practice and qualifying, can be pretty dangerous, but it just feels hotter because of that.
Yeah, good point, Simon, because yesterday there was quite a few riders, Jack Miller, Bagnaia, and also Taka Nakagami. They were saying they were slightly concerned about the impact of the wind. There is then your front row for this Andalusian Grand Prix, the first Andalusian Grand Prix in history. Fabio Quartararo on pole for the 4th race in a row from fellow Yamaha rider Maverick Vinales and Pecco Bagnaia. Row 2, Valentino Rossi, Miguel Oliveira and Franco Morbidelli. Jack Miller, Taka Nakagami and Brad Binder, the rookie sensation, on row 3. Then it's Joan Mir, Danilo Petrucci and Polispargo, who missed out in Q2 after that crash at the 2nd corner. Heroics from Cal Crutchlow. He heads row 5. Andrea Dovizioso, an awful lot of work to do from him. 14th. Missed Q2 for the first time since the Saxon Ring. He's on that 5th row with Johan Zarco. A bit further down as well, another heroic performance. How does he do it? Ironman Alex Rins. Despite the injuries from that horrible crash he had in qualifying last weekend, he is going to start this 25 lap race. Now, we talked there briefly while we were running through the grid about Miguel Oliveira's heroics, the Red Bull KTM Tech 3 rider. First time he got into Q2 yesterday, best ever qualifying in MotoGP. 5th. I'm delighted to say Simon Crafar is grabbing some pre-race thoughts from his team boss Hervé Poncharal. Simon.
I am, yes, and also Miguel's fastest KTM. How do you feel he can do, Hervé?
Sorry, I didn't hear the question.
How do you feel Miguel can do?
The good news is I think Miguel feels a lot more relaxed than I am. I am a bit nervous. It's a very difficult question, you know, because we know we have a good pace. The qualifying position is great, but the conditions are incredibly hot. I think hotter than last week. You know, honestly, we are 2nd row, 5th on the grid, but top 10 would make me very happy. It's going to be very interesting, you know, to see how the race develops, because clearly we are now very close to the leading machines. Miguel is riding better and better, but I don't want to make any prognostic. You know, there is so much that can happen. I think the last 10 laps will be very brutal, cruel for the riders, for the bikes. It's a question of, you know, saving the tires, being smart, try to keep your head clear. But we got a good chance, you know, we got a good chance. What I'm very happy is to see so many KTM much closer to the front than they were last year. It's not only one rider, one lap, and this is the best news for us and for the championship.
Thanks, Hervé, and good luck.
Thanks, Simon.
Yeah, thanks to both Simon Crafar and Hervé Poncharal. Interesting observations, as always, from the French team boss. Yeah, he's more nervous than Miguel Oliveira. Oliveira trying to beat his previous best MotoGP result. That was an 8th last weekend, which matched his previous best, which was an 8th at the Red Bull Ring in Austria. Downtown Jerez de la Frontera, one of the big cities in Andalusia. The 34th successive year that a Grand Prix has been held here in Jerez. The first time there's ever been back-to-back MotoGP races at the same circuit. Well, yesterday it was a great day for Yamaha. 1 and 2 in qualifying, with Monster Energy Yamaha man Maverick Vinales second on the grid, closely followed by Valentino Rossi in 4th place. What about the pre-race observations ahead of a tough race for his men? Maya Meregali, team manager of Monster Energy Yamahas, with Simon.
Mayo, got a hard question for you. How important is it, you know, you're an ex-rider, so am I. How important is it for Maverick to beat Fabio today?
Yeah, for sure it's important, but anyway, there are a few more races in front of us, and a mistake that is even more important. I really like yesterday how he behaved, because every time that Fabio improved his lap, every time he reacts. And also it's a pity that they cancelled his last lap, but anyway it was a 10th quicker, and for me, for his self-belief, I think that is really important.
And your other rider, Valentino, is, you know, like second row. Yeah. Sorry, Mayo's having trouble to hear me with all his mask on. Second row, you know, 4th position. Can he get a podium?
Yeah, it's going to be for sure very tough for everything. The circumstance for sure won't help him. And it depends, as always, the tire degradation and how they will be able to manage this behave. Because anyway, we try, we did all we can, but now it's really up to them. And anyway, he's in a really good position, and he likes now the balance of the bike, even if the tire anyway keep dropping, but anyway he can ride the bike. With the previous balance he had much more difficulties, and this morning in the warm-up anyway he had a drop, but it was quite big fast compared last weekend warm-up.
Good luck, Mayo.
Thank you.
Good luck to Massimo Meregali, to Yamaha as well. Vinales starts 2nd, Rossi starts 4th. KTM looking for a big day. They're all having a natter. We just saw Aleix Espargaro 12th, a bit further back on the grid in 16th. Pol Espargaro 12th. Here's JZ, Johan Zarco, 15th on the grid today. 5 better places than he was here last week. The Frenchman looking for a big result and a top 10.
Guys, just to let you know, there's almost no riders on the grid. It's so hot. They've run away to stand in the shade until they have to come back.
Simon, have you ever encountered anything like this, temperature-wise?
I have. I rode a year and a half Malaysian Championship before I came to Europe, and yeah, I've ridden in 37th, you know, and really crazy humidity, and yeah, 37, 38, and you know, it felt something like this. It is horrible.
It's going to be a long, taxing, punishing 25 laps. You heard Hervé Poncharal, 2 words he used to describe the conditions for the rides in those last 10 laps: brutal and cruel. How apt was that from Hervé Poncharal? These guys, they're training non-stop throughout the winter. They were training non-stop throughout the lockdown. Olympic standard elite athletes, and they need to be, because these are going to be probably some of the most demanding and physically and mentally draining conditions that they've ever experienced. Andrea Dovizioso, the wily old campaigner, could barely speak after the podium celebrations last week. So tired and destroyed, he said, physically, the 34-year-old. He almost inferred that if he wasn't fighting for the podium, he'd have been tempted to pull in. Such was the physical debilitation last weekend. It was a really, really tough Grand Prix. And of course, he got work to do as well. 14th. The start and the first 2 or 3 laps are going to see where Andrea Dovizioso's potential's at today.
It's going to be such a tough task for all the MotoGP riders. With no breeze, it means that there's going to be a slightly different race as well. We're looking at Dovi. What does Davide Tardozzi think his man can produce from the 5th row? Tardozzi's with Simon on the grid.
That's exactly what I want to know, Steve. Davide, you know, your rider Andrea, he's well back on the grid, but we all saw what he did last last race, but also many times last year, how he came through and stunned us all with his techniques, you know, to come through to the podium. Can he do it today? I saw some positive looks in the garage after warm-up.
Yeah, for sure. Andrea can grow up on the grid, and I think that the podium is not only a dream. For sure, from the 5th row is very difficult, but you have the opportunity to do it, and even if it's very tough in this racetrack, because we can't use our top speed to overtake the other riders. I think that he has the possibility to do it. We'll see, but a good result is the main thing. Even 4th or 5th could be good for the championship, while in the next races we need to win.
And your other rider, Danilo, he's ahead of Dovi on the grid, and he's really good when it was cooler track, but it's super hot now.
Yeah, but Danilo, same problem of Dovi during the weekend. He recovered to the problem this morning in the warm-up, and I guess that he has the same opportunity of Dovi to grow up on the ranking.
Great news, good luck.
Yeah, thanks Simon, thanks to Davide Tardozzi. So they've not ruled out Andrea Dovizioso playing a part in the podium battle this afternoon. They clearly found something, didn't they, to his liking in this morning's warm-up session. We saw there a few moments ago Alex Rins, can't speak highly enough, full of admiration for Alex Rins' courage and determination just to be even putting his leathers on, let alone preparing to start the 25-lap Grand Prix. It's going to be a brutal, savage race coming up for him. All the riders are coming to the grid as late as they possibly can. Let's hear the thoughts about the prospects for Suzuki and the heroism of Alex Rins in 20th place on the grid. Simon's with Davide Brivio, Suzuki team boss, right now.
Davide, can you tell us about your riders, where they're at today and the chances for Suzuki?
Yeah, of course, you know, we have Alex, which is coming from the injury. Honestly speaking, he's trying, and we have to see if we will be able to finish the race. It's very hard and very long race. So he will try. He made a very hard job through the week with the physiotherapist to try to recover. We hope maybe we can score a few points. And then John is starting from the 10th position, but he has a good pace. If he's able to remain calm and keep up his pace, I think our tire normally is quite gentle on the tires. Our bike is quite gentle on the tires, and maybe if we are in a good position, it could be a small advantage by the end. But you have to build it up before. So let's see how it goes. I mean, we can do good result with John, I think, and we hope to finish the race with Alex.
Good luck, Davide.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough day for Alex Rins. I can't believe he's even attempting this, so good luck to him. And Joan Mir, well, let's get past lap 1 first.
Yeah, got to be more patient than what he was last time. He just got a little bit too hot under the collar, understandable in the hot conditions, while trying to fight his way through from a pretty poor start, and he went down very early on. Danilo Petrucci even bringing a fan to the grid with him. I mean, that just shows you how hot the conditions are. You can see the bikes have got blowers going into the air intake, trying to keep everything as cool as possible. Riders have got ice packs around their necks. Some of them are wearing ice vests. They're trying to get as much cool fluid on board as they can to keep themselves hydrated. It's probably going to be, for most of these guys, just about the toughest 40 to 45 minutes they've ever experienced on 2 wheels coming up.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think it's going to be tough going here.
Guys, just to elaborate on that, when I rode the Malaysian Championship, riding in this sort of stuff every second weekend, until you figure out how your body works, responds, how you prepare it by drinking and when, and meaning water, fluids, all the way up to say 40, not on the beers, no, 30, 40 minutes before, and you just can't last the distance. It's so hard out there. So yeah, there's going to be a few guys really struggle at the end of it.
Thanks for that, Simon. Yeah, you can see Pecco Bagnaia here just taking on board some fluid ahead of this 25-lap marathon in the heat.
Yeah, because what you forget, the guys aren't just dealing with the ambient air temperatures. They're sat on top of motorcycles which are churning out some serious heat from that engine. These are 300 horsepower motorcycles, and the heat coming off them, somebody was saying it's around the 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So when you're getting that constantly blowing in your face as well, just makes it even doubly difficult, doesn't it?
It's a collector's item one Repsol Honda on the grid, and it's at the very back of the grid. There was concern for Alex Marquez when he went down yesterday. When he held his arm, we thought, he can't have, could he? He couldn't have done exactly the same as his brother. Luckily not. He's on the grid here today.
Happy with his race pace in FP4 yesterday. We're going to find out whether he's made any inroads in an area he's desperate to work on, and that's like his pace in the early laps on a full fuel tank. It's been a great weekend for KTM yet again. Miguel Oliveira top 5, brilliant by Brad Binder, and extremely strong race pace demonstrated by Pol Espargaro. What are the thoughts on the Austrian manufacturer's chances in this Andalusian Grand Prix? Well, Simon's about to ask Mike Light now.
Mike, KTM really are looking good this season. What about this race? What are you hoping to finish, you know, with your riders?
I mean, we have 3 riders in the top 12 now on the grid. So it's a good position, but this race will be very tough and for the riders at the bikes. So let's hope they see the checkered flag and yeah, get the best results possible. So yeah, will be tough.
Your machine looks better this year on the rear tyre. Are you hoping it's strong all the way to the end?
Yeah, we hope. I mean, of course, these are extreme situation of the track temperatures. So you have to manage your tyre in the race, and yeah, I hope the boys are doing well and get a good result out of that.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, I think it's the first time ever that we've sat here in a commentary box genuinely believing in a dry race that KTM have an opportunity of a podium.
And like he said there, it's, in effect, this has become a battle of survival. Survival of the fittest, who's got the most focus and concentration, who can manage the tyres best when it's going to get really slick and slippery in those last 10 laps.
Franco Morbidelli there, 6th on the grid. He does not have the whole shot device, remember. And all 3 on the front row do. Who wins the drag race up the hill into turn 1? Does Pecco get it hooked up and get the Bologna Bullet into turn 1 in first place?
New territory for Pecco Bagnaia. Never started from the front row of the grid. How will his nerves be holding up alongside the 2 Yamahas, who it looks like have the pace to break up the pack early on? That's Maverick Vinales' tactic and strategy. Quartararo, of course, will try and go with him. Are we about to see a glimpse of the future at Yamaha, at least, with Vinales dicing it out with Quartararo?
BMW on its way round. That means 5 minutes to race time here in MotoGP for the second race in 7 days. And it's all eyes on Fabio Quartararo, the Petronas Yamaha SRT rider.
Michelin yesterday recorded a record-busting track temperature of 61.1 degrees shortly after the MotoGP second qualifying session. We're getting pretty close to those kind of sizzling temperatures right now. Fabio Quartararo getting the gloves on. He'll want to get the gloves off to beat Maverick Vinales in this 25-lap battle. Esteban Garcia there, Vinales' crew chief. They formed a formidable partnership over the last 18 months or so. Can Vinales take his first victory of 2020?
There'll be no Marquez setting the pace out front. It's down to you guys now. Will it be Maverick? Will it be Fabio? Or will it be a surprise? Pecco Bagnaia will be shooting off from the front row. His teammate Jack Miller is just a couple of rows behind. Here is your front row then for the Grand Prix of Andalusia. All on the same tyres here on the front row with that Michelin hard front, soft rear.
Looks like everybody, Steve's gone hard front, soft rear, apart from Alex Rins, who's gone for the soft front. You can understand why.
Completely. Pecco Bagnaia then on the Ducati, leading the Ducati line 3rd. Maverick Vinales looking to try and be the boss here at Yamaha. Quartararo, well, he's won 1. Can he make it back-to-back? 2 race wins in 7 days? It's possible. Quartararo on pole here in Andalusia.
It's take 2 for MotoGP in Jerez 2020. Who can take the crucial 25 points? There's your front row. Quartararo, Vinales and Pecco Bagnaia, closely pursued by Rossi, Miguel Oliveira, a career best 5th for him, and Franco Morbidelli. Then it's Jack Miller, Taka Nakagami on the Honda, then Brad Binder, Joan Mir, Danilo Petrucci and Pol Espargaro, Cal Crutchlow and Andrea Dovizioso with a lot of work to do from row 5. Aleix Espargaro, Iker Lecuona and Tito Rabat. Your back row of the grid, Bradley Smith Alex Rins, the man of steel, and Alex Marquez on his second MotoGP appearance. The lone warrior for Repsol Honda with the world champion Marc Marquez sidelined through injury after that 100-mile-an-hour high side he had in the race here 1 week ago.
Razlan Razali and Johan Stiggerfeldt were celebrating there last week with their man, Fabio Quartararo. Will they be celebrating once more? Away we go for the warm-up lap here. Everyone away fine. There's a commentary box here because of the precautions. Is located just near the press conference room. I can see that both a couple of riders that were on the podium are watching right next to us at this moment in time. We won't give away the result, but they're very keen.
Yeah, they're eager to catch the glimpses of the opening exchanges of this 25-lap bruising battle coming up in Jerez. Excruciatingly hot conditions, temperatures close to 40 degrees ambient temperature. There's your championship, pretty easy to do the maths. And the sun's right now. Fabio Quartararo, your championship leader. The pole man for the 4th race in a row. Can he make it back-to-back wins? No French rider has done that ever in the Premier class.
Track temperature 59, air temperature 37. Miguel Oliveira from Portugal, best ever qualifying result. He's not got far to travel home tonight. Can he go home with a trophy? It would be spectacular, wouldn't it? The Tech 3 rider, best ever qualifying in MotoGP.
Who can keep calm in the heat? Who can keep cool in the heat? Who can keep collected in the heat?
Well, this man normally does.
Yeah, he normally does. He's never really had outright speed in both Jerez Grand Prix so far this year, but he's always said it's about consistency. That came to the fore last weekend when the tyres dropped off in those last 10 laps. Dobby was able to hang in there and take Ducati's first podium since 2017. They're still winless here, of course, since 2006. Loris Capirossi, not too much money actually going on the mending that run with the strength of the Yamaha so far this weekend.
I honestly thought Maverick Vinales was going to tuck the front then on the warm-up lap into the final corner. He's trying to get as much heat into his hard front tyre because remember he started soft last time out and was really quick on the opening 5 laps.
So who's going to nail the start? Who's got the best hole shot device in MotoGP? Is it Yamaha or is it Ducati? It's Quartararo versus Vinales versus Bagnaia on your front row.
Who will amaze us in Andalusia? The green flag is waving. 25 laps of MotoGP coming up now. Lights out. Good start from Fabio Quartararo. He got that one absolutely nailed. He's flying up the hill. Rossi also with a decent start. And Vinales. It's going to be a Yamaha 1, 2, 3. Quartararo leads into turn 1.
Oh, there's a bit of drama further back. Is that Lecuona? It's certainly one of the Red Bull KTM Tech 3 bikes. The Yamaha hole shot device working perfectly yet again.
It's Miguel Oliveira.
It's Miguel Oliveira, and he looks hurt. He looks hurt. Short-lived race then for Miguel Oliveira. Already, though, you can see Quartararo and Vinales trying to stretch away from the pack. Binder was involved as well.
So it's Quartararo leading from Maverick Vinales, from Valentino Rossi. Then it's Jack Miller, who's up into 4th place. So a great start from Miller. Then it's Nakagami, Bagnaia and Morbidelli.
Paul Espargaro well wide at turn 5. How good is that Yamaha hole shot device? So Rossi got the dream launch from the 2nd row. He's up into 3rd place. We've not had a Yamaha 1, 2, 3 in MotoGP since Phillip Island in 2014. It's early doors here in Jerez. Well, that's what we've got right now.
Maverick Vinales looking to try and find a way through already on Quartararo. There are the 2 Pramac Ducati riders, Miller, Bagnaia, who's now gone through on Taka Nakagami. What happened at the start, though, with Oliveira and Brad Binder? They'll be teammates next year. Was there contact? Bradley Smith also involved.
So that's compromised their race. Last weekend, there was an early drama for Binder when he looked so good. He ran wide, locking the front at turn 5. After that, Binder played a blinder. He's going to have to do the same again.
Maverick Vinales is looking good here. He's lining up a move surely into the final turn. Here he comes.
He's
number 12 up the inside.
No, he hasn't.
He's well wide. He loses out. He drops back to 3rd.
He can't drop behind the Ducati of Jack Miller. That would have been a nightmare. He hasn't, luckily. Vinales does hold on to that 3rd place, though. Big mistake. Tried to get up the inside of Quartararo. Ran wide. Rossi pounced. The Italian, the doctor, up in the 2nd.
You've got the apprentice and the master in 1st and 2nd here then. Quartararo, Rossi and Vinales. Further back, Aleix Espargaro has made a great start. He's up into 11th. Alex Marquez likewise. 9 places made on that opening lap from Alex Marquez from the very back of the grid.
Yeah, saw Pol Espargaro well wide at turn 5. So Quartararo exactly where he wanted to be. Let's find out the drama into the first corner then. Miguel Oliveira did not get a good start. Look, he's been swallowed up on that run into the first corner.
Binder's coming up the inside.
Yeah, and I'm afraid
tagged the back wheel of Oliveira.
Yeah, and that was a nasty old impact, wasn't it? Oliveira landing right. Oh, dear.
And he got hit by him as well, just for good measure.
Oh, well, Binder knocked him out and then clipped him again for a second time.
Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. The incident under investigation. We send our best to Miguel.
Took an almighty whack on that hip, didn't he, there, did Oliveira. Let's hope he's okay. All the whole shot devices. It was a clean start for everybody, no jump start. Taka Nakagami, as we expected, early doors is running comfortably inside that top 6. That's where LCR Honda thought he was going to be. Pekka Bagnaia at the moment swarming all over his Pramac Ducati teammate Jack Miller's rear tyre. In fact, at the moment it looks like Bagnaia's got the better pace.
Quick check as we look, Bagnaia's coming through on Miller. He's just a bit out of shape though into the last corner and he's gone wide.
Yeah, he's done
he's down and he's up again. What a save by Pekka Bagnaia. What a save.
Marc Marquez, eat your heart out.
Incredible
Pekka
stuff
Bagnaia
there.
somehow keeps it up. Costly though, he was getting frustrated and impatient there because he could see the Yamahas getting away. He looked quicker than Miller and he tried to force the issue. Good to see Miguel Oliveira. Let's hope he is okay. Looks like he might have just had the wind knocked out of him. That's why he stayed down at the start. Now Quartararo is bolting here. Rossi hasn't got the pace of the Frenchman, and at the moment Vinales can't find a way back through on Rossi. The buffer that Quartararo wanted. This is costly for Vinales. Cannot get stuck behind Rossi for too long, otherwise Quartararo's going to check out.
Quick check on Dovi. He's in 10th place at the moment behind his teammate Danilo Petrucci. He's got a lot of work to do from back there. Fastest lap of the race of 38.280 from Quartararo. On board with Vinales.
Quartararo mullered the 2 Yamahas behind him on that last lap. 6/10 quicker than Rossi. Half a second quicker than Vinales. Already, is he making that decisive break? If he does, it's all going to be about a test of his concentration in these conditions. Hervé Poncharal said pre-race to Simon Crayford how nervous he was for Miguel Oliveira. Well, the nerves didn't have to last for too long, did they, unfortunately? They weren't jangling for that long because Oliveira taken out at the first corner. Cruel for him, having had a career best 5th place. Vinales still no way through on Rossi.
No, and there's a bit of a train forming here. Jack Miller's closing in on the pair of them. They do not want that Ducati in front of them here in Jerez. The Pramac Ducati rider from Australia closes. Fabio Quartararo is checking out.
Yeah,
We're onto the home straight here. And
Rossi in
a bit wide from Rossi.
As Vinales going to out-drag him then up the straight and try and get him on the brakes into first quarter and then set about somehow closing down what is a 1.5 second deficit on Quartararo. He's gone. Quartararo, a 38.119, fastest lap of the race. Taking huge chunks of time out of Rossi. 0.8 of a second that last lap. Quartararo was faster than Rossi.
Yeah, and you can see how impatient Vinales is now to try and get through on Valentino Rossi. He's losing chunks of time to the Frenchman out front.
Turn 13 hasn't been kind, has it, so far this year to Maverick Vinales in Jerez. He ran wide last weekend to surrender the lead to Quartararo. He lunged up the inside of the Frenchman a couple of laps ago. Couldn't make it stick. Trying to get to the front early doors, and it could be a costly mistake for Maverick Vinales. Is he going to find a way up the inside of Rossi into turn 6? No, he's not close enough. We know that Rossi might not have the pace to go with Quartararo, but one thing Rossi is brilliant on the brakes.
Yeah, notoriously always been a demon on the brakes, hasn't he, Valentino? Further back then, it's Miller, Bagnaia, Nakagami, Morbidelli, Mir. Dovi's now got through on Petrucci, he's up into 9th.
This will sting for Maverick Vinales as he sees Fabio Quartararo stretching away. Again, Quartararo's just taking more time out of these 2 behind him. Another couple of tenths he's found. In fact, Quartararo is blitzing them in Sector 3. He's 3 tenths quicker in Sector 3 than Rossi and Vinales.
Vinales has got to get through. He's got to do it now. He's got to line up Valentino Rossi into the final turn. Here he comes.
Yeah.
Here he comes up the inside. Can he get it stopped this time? He cannot outbrake Valentino Rossi. He can't find a way through.
Does he just have not enough trust in that front end yet while the full tank's still quite full? It's been an issue in the past for Maverick Vinales. He was quite fortunate, actually, after he made that mistake running wide to let Quartararo and Rossi through, not to have Jack Miller sweep through as well. Now here's Dovizioso picking his way through the pack as we expected. He's just taken his teammate Danilo Petrucci. So Dovi into 9th.
Was that Vinales having another pop at Rossi and it went slightly wrong because he's just lost a bit of ground, hasn't he? And
Well,
the two Pramac Ducati boys are
you
now
can pretty much
closing.
already forget about Fabio Quartararo because he's so superior in terms of his rhythm. Again, that last lap, 6/10 quicker than Rossi, and while Vinales is stuck behind Rossi, there's nothing he can do to bridge that gap. Quartararo at the moment in a complete class of his own.
Got to give a shout out to Alex Rins at the moment. He's one place ahead of Cal Crutchlow in 16th place.
Yeah, that's an epic battle of the walking wounded. The fact that those two have even put their helmets and leathers on today, testament to their willpower and determination. Cal Crutchlow was saying that he was feeling a bit nauseous yesterday, wasn't he, with the hot conditions and coming so close after the anaesthetic. He had to put a screw in that damaged left scaphoid.
Wow. We have two factory Yamahas ahead of two satellite Ducatis. KTM are not having the day they thought they were going to have. At the moment, their leading rider is Podium. He's still in 12th. He can't get through on his brother Aleix right now.
Do you know what this reminds me of? Fabio Quartararo. This is just so
Lorenzo,
Jorge Lorenzo.
yeah.
Get to the front and bolt and then manage your pace. This is just a typical Jorge Lorenzo Yamaha style demolition job.
Yeah, there's no catching Fabio Quartararo right now. Another 38.4 for him.
7/10 quicker than Rossi. They've got nothing for him. He's going to be 3 seconds clear at the end of this lap and the rest. Vinales still cannot find a way through, and he's got the two Pramac Ducatis ganging up behind him as well. Taka Nakagami hanging in there as well inside the top 6. There's been nothing that Franco Morbidelli's been able to do about the Honda man in front of him.
The two Red Bull KTMs are going to be kicking themselves. Paul Espargaro for qualifying in 12th because his pace is just as good as the guys in the podium fight. And Brad Binder, again, he's in the mid-38s, but he's right at the back of the field after tagging Miguel Oliveira.
He's 2/10 slower than Fabio Quartararo.
It's incredible.
So once again,
a tale
podium
of
pace.
what might have been.
Yeah, podium pace yet again.
Oh, that's wide from Pecco Bagnaia. Sorry, Miller. Miller really wide. Bagnaia almost going through there on him.
Just was able to pull it back, wasn't he, before Bagnaia pounced on him. At the moment, the Ducatis haven't really got close to seriously showing Vinales a front tyre.
You've got to give Rossi credit here, Matt. I mean, he is doing everything to hang on in there. This is some defensive display right now.
Ace 41, fit as a fiddle, isn't he? I mean, these are testing conditions for Valentino Rossi. He said pre-race, the toughest, hottest and longest race in prospect of his MotoGP career. Well, he's doing an awesome job at the moment in 2nd place.
Top left of the picture, Fabio Quartararo had a little bit of a moment then. We'll get him across the line.
Well, his buffer is over 3 seconds as we expected. He's just hammering in those mid-138s, 138.793. Yeah, there was a small mistake on that lap because Rossi got within 3/10. Joan Mir's got some good rhythm going, a 38.9 from the Suzuki man. He's just there at the top of your picture trying to hunt down.
Oh, Tech 3 are having a disaster.
3rd crash of the weekend for Iker Lecuona as well, unfortunately. The unwanted hat-trick for the 27.
A day that was looking so promising for KTM right now is looking a bit ugly.
Last corner, just tipping off the side. Alex Rins was right on his case.
Well, Alex Rins is in the points now, thanks to that.
How the hell is Alex Rins still doing 39s in the condition that he is? And Cal Crutchlow. They're both doing 139s in this heat, in their physical condition. Absolutely remarkable.
Valentino's not under immediate pressure here in 2nd place. Maverick Vinales there on this lap is falling into a bit of a Ducati trap. He must be so frustrated, Vinales, with the mistake trying to go through on Valentino and not making it stick. Look how costly it's become. And there you can see, look, Maverick Vinales only just holding off those Pramac Ducatis. Joan Mir's got some good pace going, as Davide Brivier alluded to.
As we said as well, this will sting for Vinales, particularly if he drops back behind those two Pramac Ducatis as well, because they're not easy motorcycles to overtake. As Morbidelli starts making big inroads into Taka Nakagami's Honda, will Morbidelli be close enough to attack the Japanese man into the final corner? We're looking back from Nakagami. Morbidelli's going for it. Yeah, he's just going to hug that inside curb.
Lovely move.
It was lovely, that was. There wasn't a lot of room there, but he really forced the issue. There was nothing that Nakagami could do. He would see Morbidelli on the inside, couldn't turn in. Rossi is just putting a bit of daylight, isn't he, between himself and Vinales here.
He's looking good. He's looking good. I mean, fair play. This is no fluke.
Settled into a good rhythm now, Rossi.
Yep.
38.9 was only 2/10 slower than Quartararo, 3/10 quicker than Vinales. So at this phase of the race, a long, long way to go. We've still got 18 laps. I mean, how punishing is that going to be for the body and the tyres? But Rossi at the moment has got Vinales' measure.
If Rossi finishes on the podium, aged 41, in conditions like this, it'll be one of his greatest ever podiums.
Yeah, and a week after everybody said he called it quits. Threw the towel in, apparently. Nothing to do with the mechanical.
So, Ducati's then trying to find a way through on Maverick Vinales. Valentino Rossi has got a good gap now, almost half a second on Maverick. And if Maverick does fall behind one of those Ducatis, his podium chances are going to look slim all of a sudden.
Well, and to not finish on the podium, given his speed all weekend, that would be a disaster. That would be a disaster. I don't care if he's top 6, top 5. That would be not good enough. They would see that as a shocking result.
Binder's through. He made that mistake at the start of the race. He's gone through on Bradley Smith. That puts him up into 18th place as he hunts down some points. Yeah,
a bit of youthful exuberance, shall we say, at the first corner from Brad Binder. Easily done. It really does concertina up on the brakes into that tight first corner. I remember in 2006 when Tony Elias clobbered into Valentino Rossi at turn 1. We've seen it happen before in the past. There's your race leader, your runaway race leader, Fabio Quartararo, 3.6 seconds clear of Valentino Rossi, who's now stretched his lead over at Vinales as Bagnaia has a lunge, tries to find a way up the inside of Jack Miller, no way through at turn 2.
Jack will be frustrated if Pecco does that. You can just see Jack at the moment is just trying to conserve himself a little and then waiting for that right move to go through on Vinales. They don't want to hold each other up and then lose sight of the Yamahas.
I just wonder as well whether these guys in that pack, how their front tyres are holding up pressure and temperature wise, because without that clear air, Aleix Espargaro has had an absolutely shocking 7 days in Jerez. Crashed last weekend and unfortunately he's out.
Oh, here comes Jack Miller up the inside. Maverick Vinales, he's wide though, he's really wide, and Pecco Bagnaia pounces as well. How many times have we seen that happen in this race so far? So Miller, in an attempt to go up into a podium position, has now dropped back to 5th.
Aleix Espargaro was 11th, just ahead of younger brother Paul when he crashed. He said yesterday he's having to push so hard on that front end to make up for the lack of acceleration on that Aprilia. He's so on the limit on the brakes every single corner of every single lap that mistakes sometimes, unfortunately, become inevitable, and I'm afraid he's been bitten again.
No further action taken after the reviewing of the incident.
That's just a typical first corner
incident. Turn 1 in Jerez.
Absolutely.
I tell you who's got some speed here at the moment, Matt, is Franco Morbidelli, number 21, just behind Jack Miller there. He's got past Nakagami and really closed on these guys. This is looking good for Morbidelli. He could well be on for his first ever MotoGP podium here. The problem he's got, of course, is he's got 2 Ducatis in front of him, which are notoriously difficult to pass, but he's faster than them, that's for sure.
And that's what Franco said last weekend when he got with those Ducatis. His tyre pressure on the front and the temperature went through the roof, and it became a bit of a handful to turn that Yamaha. We know how good it is, what an agile and manoeuvrable motorcycle it is. But even Franco Morbidelli in the hot conditions behind the Dukes was struggling. And of course, you've got to take so many risks to get by the Ducati. It's so good on the front end, braking stability-wise, particularly in the hands of Bagnaia and Jack Miller this weekend. It's probably the toughest motorcycle to overtake in MotoGP right now.
Look at the speed difference. Look at the speed difference there of the Ducati and the Yamaha. He can't quite find a way through though, can he, Pecco Bagnaia? Oh, he's wide though. Maverick Vinales has gone wide and deep into turn 6. Through goes Pecco Bagnaia. He's in 3rd. Can he hold on to it? He can.
Smartness by Bagnaia. He's just picking up the pieces of everybody else's mistakes. Miller ran wide at turn 6 on the last lap and he went through. And now it's Maverick Vinales' turn. So Pecco Bagnaia, he's just keeping cool, keeping his head down, riding smart, not making mistakes, being smooth, and just letting the positions come to him.
4 seconds the lead now for Fabio Quartararo ahead of Valentino Rossi, who himself is 6/10 clear of his protege, Pecco Bagnaia.
Well, what we've seen already is this young man is going to jump all over Marc Marquez when he's down. 50 points coming the way potentially for Fabio Quartararo. Marc Marquez will have 0. Is that already too much of a gap for even the mercurial Marquez to recover?
On to the start-finish straight we go. 14 laps left of this race. There's Jack Miller now trying to have a look up the inside of Maverick Vinales, and does. Can he hold it? Is he going to run wide? They both go a bit deep. Maverick Vinales is having a bit of a nightmare here, and now it comes Morbidelli up the inside as well. Maverick Vinales is down. to, what is it now, 6th place.
And this is humbling indeed for Maverick Vinales, not what the Yamaha factory were expecting at all. They thought he was going to be going with Fabio Quartararo in a showdown at the front. This was down into turn 6. He's going to run in hot, and Pecco Bagnaia is going to sweep underneath him. Social distancing regulations mean you're supposed to be 2 metres away from everybody in the paddock. I think you're going to need to give Maverick Vinales 20 metres after this one. Yeah. He's going to be raging.
He's been smiling all weekend, and it's been well and truly wiped off right now.
Well, how upbeat did he look before the race? Bouncing away in his seat in the pit box, listening to his tunes. Well, it's Fabio Quartararo that's calling all the tunes at the moment in this Grand Prix. Razlan Razali, they are staring down the barrel of yet another dominant victory here in Jerez. We said somebody's got to make hay while the world champion's away, and that's what Fabio Quartararo is doing right now.
Oh, someone's gone down.
That's Miller.
Oh, Jack Miller has gone down.
You can just see that
race.
Flash at the bottom of your screen, couldn't you? We're getting into the territory, Steve, of the race where the track's going to be getting hot. Was that somebody else down as well?
I think that's just the onboard noise of the marshals picking up the
tyre number 9 for Jack Miller then. Look at this. There you go, the front end going. How many guys did we see go down at turn 9 in Moto 2? So it's not going to be a thriller from Miller today.
You're right, Matt. We're entering now this sort of territory of the race where things are almost a little bit too hot. Pecco Bagnaia, you know, he's got a very good chance of finishing second here. Thumbs up from Miller. He's absolutely fine. Bagnaia then. There's the boss just up ahead of him.
Yeah, and he looks like he's got the better pace, doesn't he, Pecco Bagnaia? He said all throughout the weekend, in race trim, he feels like he's got a crack at the top 3. I don't think too many people actually were convinced by his own argument, but...
And who would have thought this? As Quartararo leads, Valentino Rossi is trying to defend second place with 2 of his academy boys chasing.
Petrucci's gone. This is becoming what we feared, a real race of attrition.
Oh, Rossi's wide.
Yeah, the guys are hitting massive tyre trouble already here. Everybody's running wide on the brakes going into turn 6. Turn 2 caught out Aleix Espargaro. It's now caught out Danilo Petrucci. And Pecco Bagnaia then in second place. We've got our 3 VR46 Academy men. There is Petrucci trudging rather disconsolately through the gravel trap.
This is hard work for everyone right now. Petrucci, that's the 5th rider out of this race.
And yet again, who's just racing super smart, boxing clever like he always does? Andrea Dovizioso ghosting towards the top 6. Dovi now in 8th, and he's only about 3 seconds behind Franco Morbidelli. And with the drop-off we expect coming in the tyres, we know that Dovizioso is a master at tyre management. Is there still an outside chance of Desmo Dovi, undaunted, getting himself into this podium battle? Well, seems a long shot right now, but who knows?
Anything in this race could happen as yet. Pecco Bagnaia is now streaking away from Valentino Rossi. He's actually pulled a couple of tenths on Franco Morbidelli. On Fabio Quartararo. Morbidelli's obviously looking for his first podium. Petronas Yamaha, of course, they've had their win. They've never had both men on the podium.
Maverick Vinales at the moment's got a 6/10 buffer back to Taka Nakagami, although last time around Nakagami was slightly quicker. It's looking like Valentino Rossi is having problems stressing that rear tyre like he always does. Overheating the rear tyre's been one of Rossi's problems. He's looking like he's going to lose 3rd place pretty quickly to Franco Morbidelli. Look how quickly Bagnaia's dropped him.
Matt, coming out of turn 2 through 3, he just bolted away for it. It looked like Valentino couldn't get any rear grip.
Yeah, he's struggling there as well. Turn 6, he just cannot get the drive at all.
It's that age-old problem, isn't it, for Rossi at this stage of races in these hot conditions. He does stress that tyre, his riding style, his natural body weight. Franco Morbidelli's getting a good look at the boss here. Thought he might be going for it at turn number 9.
What has happened to Maverick Vinales?
Answers on a postcard, please.
I cannot get my head around that at all.
See, Andrea Dovizioso is really paying the price for a woeful qualifying and struggling to find a good setup before this morning's warm-up session, because he's circulating right now at the same pace as Fabio Quartararo, your race leader. Dovi's got some good rhythm. Tell you who is in a really fast pace as well is Joan Mir in 7th. He's doing 39 flats.
Yeah, and we know Suzuki are good at keeping tyres. Yep. So both Mir and Dovi might make some forward movement
as well. Rins and Crutchlow
they're doing
are still doing mid-39s,
yeah,
which is that's not far behind podium pace at this stage.
No, incredible.
I just can't process their bravery I mean, it's balmy, really, what they're doing. I mean,
madness.
take your hat off to them.
This man here is in a world of his own right now. 4.5 seconds clear for Fabio Quartararo. It's going to feel like a long race. Oh,
Binder.
it gets worse for KTM. Binder's gone
Do you know
down.
what? This is what we thought it was going to be. It's a proper battle of survival, this. The tyres are turning to jelly right now.
You finish this race, you're in the points as it stands. Oh,
crikey.
vicious stuff.
Oh, dearie me, what an eventful day for Brad Binder. That's a nasty, nasty high side.
Oh, and
he gets a
whacked
wallop as well from that RC16. Oh, we've seen some bone-jarring crashes over the last 7 days or so, haven't we, at the Jerez circuit?
You know
Thankfully,
what?
he's on his feet.
You know
that
what?
was a big one.
We're on the absolute limit here. We're on the absolute limit in terms of laps, in terms of temperature, and in terms of the speeds that these bikes and riders are going.
This is going to feel like the longest 12 laps of these guys' lives. They're going to come over the line and see 12 laps, and they're going to go, you what? We've still got 12 laps to go. It feels like we've been out here for 12 hours already.
Valentino Rossi's responded a bit, despite being in a bit of trouble initially with Franco Morbidelli.
Amazing what the prospect of a podium does for you for the first time in about 18 months.
Well, it would be an incredible podium for Valentino. I mean, there's some brilliant rides. Anyone that finishes this race basically needs a huge pat on the back.
Could not agree more.
There's Taka Nakagami as well, 6th place here. Mir just behind him. There is Dovi, look. Number 4, just behind this factory Suzuki.
Alex Rins, I can't speak highly enough of that guy right now. He's just set his personal best lap of the race on lap 14, on wearing tyres, excruciatingly hot conditions. That the guy is probably at best 60% fit, and he's doing personal best laps of a 39.4 on lap 14.
I was convinced yesterday that he wouldn't
I
even
thought
go
he was
into
gonna bail.
qualifying. Yeah, I
After
didn't think
walk
it was
this
going to
morning,
happen.
was he? I mean, obviously he was conserving energy this morning, but he was 5 seconds off the pace. I thought he's going to quit. He's going to withdraw. I mean, to get a 12th place, it could get even better for Alex Rins. I mean, absolutely astonishing.
There's still a long way to go here, though, Matt. This is still a long way to go. There's Pol Espargaro. He's in 9th right now. It's not really been the day that they were expecting, is it, KTM?
And you can see
He's the only KTM rider left.
Last man standing for the Austrian boys.
Oh, and so he was with Andrea Dovizioso early on and made that mistake and lost out on a lot of places, did Pol.
Yeah, and I think he'd already run wide as well at turn 5 early doors as well, Pol Espargaro, so it was not
in the opening
a
lap.
good first lap for him at all, was it?
15 riders in this race left, 11 laps to go, make that 10 across the line.
Quite a lonely race at the moment for Pol Espargaro.
It's quite a lonely race for this guy as well.
Yeah, this is just now the ultimate test of his focus and concentration. Last week he said the last 10 laps were the longest of his life. Well, I wonder how these 10 laps are going to go for him as well. At the moment, complete control, 4.6 seconds. A good ride again by this young man, Alex Marquez.
Yeah, I agree with that.
On the Repsol Honda. Yes, there's been a few crashes, a few fallers, but he's running a pretty decent, consistent pace at the moment. Mid-39s as well coming in from the young Marquez.
Franco Morbidelli, the fastest rider on that last lap, so he's now closing once again on Valentino Rossi. You can see in that shot, this is the battle for 3rd place. Pecco Bagnaia further up the road in 2nd at the moment.
This was at the stage last weekend, Steve, where Pecco Bagnaia's front tyre just fell off a cliff, and that's why we saw him drop down to 7th. So let's just see, they've been working a lot on front tyre durability, working on that front suspension and the geometry to try and give him better front tyre life. So let's see if it's a plan that's worked well for the Pramac Ducati man. He looks great so far, I've got to say. He hasn't made mistakes while those around him did. Well, we see that shot on slightly less exotic and high-tech equipment at the VR46 Academy, don't we? Those three going at it. Pecco Bagnaia, Rossi and Franco Morbidelli. Simon, we just saw a real bruising, nasty crash for Brad Binder. He looked like he lost the front, and then the rear gripped him and flung him over the high side. What are your thoughts? Because that was a nasty one.
Yeah, hopefully we get to see it again. It's pretty pretty horrible for Brad. But
Sorry, Simon, we have to come back to you. Franco Morbidelli, something's gone. Is that another engine problem for Yamaha? What's happened?
Yamaha's engines are not proving to be reliable. Last weekend, Valentino Rossi out of the Spanish Grand Prix with a technical
What's
problem.
it doing? Get off the circuit, Franco, please. Quickly, get off the circuit.
It's gone kaput. That's race over. And Yamaha's reliability gremlins are back. Major concern for the Iwata factory. Rossi out with a technical last weekend. Franco Morbidelli cruelly denied a podium here this weekend. What is going on with those Yamahas? Back to you, Simon.
poor old Franco. I'll get down to Yamaha and ask them what they think, whether they think it's the same as last week as soon as I can. But yeah, if you get to see the Brad crash again, Binder, what are we going to see here? Let's watch this first.
Just cuts out.
It's same as Valentino.
Yeah, same
Exactly the same.
Valentino.
On the start-finish straight, the exact same point where Rossi's went, no more.
Chances of a podium gone. By the way, Cal Crutchlow's just entered pit lane, I would imagine, to retire. It's been a hot, heavy, long race for Cal. He's tried so hard, but ultimately not happened.
Cal Crutchlow is the ultimate warrior, not a guy who pulls in.
Guys, that sound was exactly like Valentino's, in the same position. All his was a big alarm came on and everything shuts down. They don't know. Basically, they told me it happens whether it's an electronic problem for safety for the rider. You know, maybe the traction control stopped working, or it can do it if the engine has a problem. It does a big shutdown as well. Again, safety, you know, so that doesn't explode. I'll go down and find out what happened with Carl here, but...
Looks like he's going back out, Simon.
Yeah, he's going back out as well. You know what? I've not seen a race like this. I don't think ever. This is hard work. There's only 13 riders left in this race, or now 14 with Carl exiting.
There's going to be some serious burning of midnight oil in Iwata over the next few days. Rossi out with a technical last weekend, and Rossi now struggling, as we thought he might do in terms of his pace at this stage, with overheating that rear tyre, running out of rear grip here, Rossi. And now Viñales is trying to strike and salvage a podium. I mean, when was the last time we saw two Yamahas go in two races in a row? Remember, Rossi had that big explosion when he was doing so well in Mugello a few years back. But these are concerning times for Yamaha. With Fabio Quartararo, your World Championship leader, Yamaha right now are going through engines like confetti at a wedding. And that will be a concern with the engine allocation for the factory teams reduced from 7 to 5 in this shortened season. Are Yamaha going to have to knock out some performance on their engines to make them more reliable, or is it something that can be rectified quite easily with some modifications? But make no mistake, we don't see Yamahas falling to pieces like they have done over this last week in these brutal conditions in Jerez.
This will be heartbreak for Valentino. There's 8 laps to go, soon to be 7. He's still just about hanging on to a podium spot at the moment. 7 laps to go now as Fabio Quartararo crosses the line. You know, Hervé Poncharal got it absolutely spot on at the start when he spoke to Simon. Brutal and cruel, and that is what this race has been so far, and there might yet be a few more cruel moments for 1 or 2 riders as yet. It doesn't get any tougher than this.
No, I mean, at this stage of the race now, the guy's core temperature will be off the scale. They'll be gasping for breath, just inhaling red hot air off those engines. It's going to be painful.
Here comes Maverick. Is he going to have a look into turn 5? He's not quite close enough. Now he's got to try and just get the drive, get the slipstream. The biggest problem he's had is he cannot outbrake Valentino. But has Valentino got the tyre? Here he comes now. Is he going to have another go into turn 6? Rossi knows he's there. He's defended. Is he gone a bit hot into turn 6 there? No, he just about manages to hold on to it.
You know Rossi's going to defend like hell. He wants that podium. Such a long time since he's been on that top 3. Pecco Bagnaia is going to deny us what we thought was going to be potentially a Yamaha top 3 if he stays on board. What a job the Italian's done as well. He's long gone in 2nd place.
Am I seeing? Is it my eyes, or is there smoke coming from Bagnaia's bike? Am I seeing some sort of haze on the circuit, or is it my
Pecco
eyes?
Bagnaia's got a problem.
He has. He's got
spot,
smoke.
Steve. Great spot.
Oh my goodness me!
Well,
this might bring out a red flag, you know.
Oh, look at this. Pramit Ducati can't believe it. They cannot believe it. Pecco Bagnaia, there's smoke billowing out of that.
There'll be a black and orange flag in a moment for Pecco Bagnaia.
Oh, this is going to be so cruel.
He stays on.
He's stayed on into the last corner.
Good point.
Maverick Vinales has gone through, but he's gone wide again. Valentino Rossi comes through. There's Hayes still coming through, and Pecco Bagnaia's bike. He'll be told shortly he's got to pull over. There's no way he can continue like this, and I'm worried for him as well, because he clearly does not know what is going on right now.
But at the moment, it's obviously not leaking fluid, is it? Because
You wouldn't... Well,
he's just looked down there. He's looked down. He's perhaps seen there's a problem. Is there a team communication to him? Has he looked down at the dash? This is going to be really unsettling as well for Rossi and Vinales behind him. They can see this cracking spot, mate, in the distance. I mean, he looks like a red arrow at the moment, doesn't he?
Guys, this is terrifying. This is a high side waiting to happen if he doesn't slow down.
Yeah, I'm petrified here. He's got to slow down. They've got to be.
Yeah,
he knows.
Oh, this is cruel in the extreme. This is what happened to Fabio Quartararo, wasn't it? He was running second in Jerez last year when he had a mechanical. How cruel is that for Pecco Bagnaia? This is a savage race on man and machine. We're having mechanicals, we're having high sides, front end washouts. We've had everything.
Well, this is just ridiculous, isn't it? This is just ridiculous what we're witnessing. And all of a sudden then, Rossi's in second, Maverick Vinales in third, and Monster Energy Yamaha might be salvaging something remarkable. Nakagami's now in fourth place. Simon.
Yeah, Carl came in. It's his hand giving him trouble, but he said he can ride slowly with it. He's going to go and see if he can get a couple of points.
Well, if he just finishes the race, he'll get them.
Gut-wrench.
Alex Rins is in 10th.
Gut-wrenching for Franco Morbidelli and Pecco Bagnaia to be denied the chance to fight for your first MotoGP podium. Totally out of your control. Doesn't get a more bitter pill to swallow than that, does it? Now then, Nakagami's eyes are going to prick up, aren't they? They're going to light up. What about Dovizioso? He's going to salvage a 6th place. Now, Taka Nakagami has got what? 4-5 laps to go to reel in the 2 Yamahas ahead of him. Juan Mir's not out of this as well either.
Valentino Rossi at the moment holds strong, holds firm, holds on to second place, and what would be some podium for the Doctor. You have to feel for the 2 men who unfortunately have had mechanicals and gone out of this one.
That's just cruel in the extreme. We have not had, look at that, that is devastating. Your heart goes out to Pecco Bagnaia because he rode an absolutely phenomenal race. He didn't make a mistake. Did not make a single mistake. He was cruising in second place.
Here comes Maverick Vinales now. Is he going to find a way through? He still can't get through on Valentino Rossi. He had excellent drive out of turn 5. He's putting everything into this. He's throwing the kitchen sink at Valentino Rossi, and still he can't find his way through right now.
Going to hold my hands up and say, didn't see this coming. Potentially Maverick Vinales being the 3rd best Yamaha after all the great race pace he showed all weekend. Time on his side to try and find a way through on Rossi. Phillip Island 2014 was the last time a single manufacturer locked out a MotoGP podium. That day it was Yamaha, Rossi, Lorenzo and Bradley Smith 6 years ago. It's looking like, after Pecco Bagnaia's cruel fortune, that we're going to be heading that way yet again.
Maverick Vinales is so fast around these right-handers, so yes, he's going to have another opportunity to get Valentino into the final corner. Will he have another go here? No. Didn't quite work out this time, so it'll be 4 laps to go.
Track temperature in Sector 3, 145 degrees Fahrenheit, 63 degrees. If you make it to the checkered flag in this race, you deserve a medal, not a trophy.
Insane what we're watching. I mean, what a week it's been in Jerez. The stories, I mean, it's like,
do you know what,
movie stuff.
Rossi so wants this. He wants the bragging rights in that Monster Energy Yamaha garage, doesn't he? Put Maverick in his place.
Oh, this is going to hurt. Look at that. In a race like this, Fabio's just in a world of his own.
He's taken them to the cleaners again, hasn't he, Quartararo?
8 seconds clear of Rossi and Vinales he is right now.
Look at that, 38 nines for 4 laps in a row, from lap 13 to lap 16. Absolutely frightening speed, frightening consistency. Marc Marquez, when he does get back to full fitness, will have his hands full trying to keep himself on the throne at the top of MotoGP, because Fabio Quartararo is on his way to a maximum 50-point haul so far.
Vinales is getting so frustrated here, trying to find a way through. As it stands, by the way, we're in line for 3 Yamahas on the podium.
Yeah,
that
first
has
time
not
for it,
happened for
2014.
time.
Phillip Island, a long time ago. Quartararo in a class of his own today. Nobody in his league. It's all about the battle for second place between Rossi and Vinales, the 2 factory Yamaha men. Might well have been saying that Franco Morbidelli was in with a shout as well of that podium battle. Pekka Bagnaia certainly was. He was in a safe second, just like Quartararo was 1 year ago when his gear shifter went on that Yamaha.
3 laps to go. Still Rossi ahead of Maverick Vinales. The LCR team just begging Nakagami on.
Think he's just going to run out of time, Nakagami. He's running a really good pace, 39.4, but it's just a smidgen slower than the Yamahas ahead of him.
I think Mir's his bigger problem at the moment.
Pekka Bagnaia. How frustrated is he going to be? On one side, he's going to be elated because he proved that he can run at the front in MotoGP. Christian Gabarini there just says, sorry, mate, really, really sorry. You rode awesome. That's what he can take from this race, that he did ride absolutely brilliantly.
The pressure that Valentino Rossi is under here is immense. Here comes the slipstream, though. This time, he's got him. He's surely got him down into... He's not! Is he going to outbrake himself here, Valentino Rossi, into turn 6? No! He still can't find a way through, and still the Doctor hangs on to second place.
The Doctor, a demon on the brakes into turn 6. How many times has Vinales got in the slipstream, got alongside Rossi, side by side, but the Doctor just has the advantage in the braking zone. You know Maverick's going to lunge. Maverick wants that second place. He doesn't want to be losing 9 points to Fabio Quartararo.
He doesn't want to be third fastest Yamaha.
Exactly.
On board now with Maverick Vinales, number 12, as he looks to find a way through on Rossi. He's going to have another look into turn 13. He's closing now up towards turn 12. And here he comes now, looking for that inside line. Can he get it? No, defence again from Valentino Rossi. And so there'll now be 2 laps remaining here in the Grand Prix of Andalusia.
To Maverick Vinales right now, Valentino Rossi's like one of those wide load trucks, isn't he? He just cannot get through. Rossi's making himself so big, so hard to overtake.
But you have to say that is as admirable of Valentino as it is as anything else, because this sort of defence is not easy to pull off.
Rossi's having to dig so deep here, so deep. Vinales has had much better speed all weekend in race trim compared to Rossi. This is silencing some of the doubters from last weekend.
Oh, that's a lovely attempt. That's a lovely attempt, but it doesn't quite work.
Well, he's had a nibble at turn 6 for a few laps now, and he's really going to try and pounce on Rossi on the braking zone into the Pedrosa corner. Can he do it this time around?
No, he can't. He can't do it. He can't find a way through. Further down then, Nakagami 4th, Mir 5th, Dovi 6th, Pol Espargaro 7th as Rossi's wide on exit of turn 6. Alex Marquez, good result for him, that would be the 8th. Zarco 9th, Alex Rins in 10th. Goodness me, the story through here. We're going live with After the Flag shortly after this, and we've got quite a lot to talk about as Maverick again tries to find a way through. Front end moment there for Valentino. He's gone wide, and he's lost second place. Maverick finally finds a way through as the front end gives way for Valentino. Will Rossi now try and fight back? Can he fight back?
Exactly. Has Rossi got any grip left? Or will he just think, you know what, you can have that second place, Vinales. I'm going to be back on the podium. I'm not going to take any crazy risks. Here's your runaway race leader, Fabio Quartararo, strolling to victory in the Andalusian Grand Prix. Here's the battle raging for second. Quartararo is about 7-8 seconds clear. Has Rossi got anything left in the locker to try and retaliate on Vinales? Vinales clearly was the faster man, and straight away he's been able to gap Valentino Rossi. And Rossi can't relax here because Taka Nakagami is on his case, big star. What's the gap? 1.1 seconds. In fact, no, it's down to 8 tenths. Nakagami in Sector 3 and Sector 4 was brilliant. He took 3 tenths out of Rossi.
Will there be some late heartache here for the Doctor, Valentino Rossi?
Yeah, he did so well to hold off Vinales for as long as he did, because as soon as Vinales has passed him, he's gone. Now it's all about Rossi trying to keep Nakagami at bay. Taka Nakagami is sensing, smelling his first MotoGP podium here. He's getting it loose, really attacking on the front end of that Honda into turn number 6.
Well, what can you say about this young man? He bolted, and no one has been a match for him today. 25 grueling laps in the most extreme conditions, and Fabio Quartararo doesn't even know what's gone on behind him. He doesn't care.
Nakagami's holding up Honda on it brilliantly here. He's doing a Marquez all in. He's taken another 3 tenths out of Rossi already on this final lap. It looks like it might be too little, too late. Rossi's going to control him. This man's been in complete control for the whole of this Andalusian Grand Prix. Fabio Quartararo cruising to his second successive victory. The first French rider to do that in Premier Class history. Nakagami's going to run out of time, but a valiant fourth for him.
The force is with Fabio. Bragging rights at Yamaha belong to him as he takes glory here. Second goes to Maverick Vinales and third for Rossi. He's back on the podium for the first time since Austin. A good effort from Nakagami. That's his best drive result. And Mir late on had some great pace and it's fifth for him. Dovi gets 10 points in sixth. Disappointing day for KTM in seventh. An outstanding job at the end there from Alex Marquez in eighth because he was closing on Polispargaro. Zarco takes ninth, and round of applause and take a bow for the man who's about to go across the line. Alex Rins takes 10th place. Battered and bruised.
Incredible.
Smith is 12th. Crutchlow also is about to come round. What a race that was. Valentino Rossi, look at him, 41 years old. And he's back on the podium, but the honours belong today to Fabio Quartararo, just as they did on Sunday. Wilco Zeelenberg is down in pit lane with Simon.
Wilco, give me your thoughts.
Well, of course, that's what we wanted it, but yeah, of course, crazy race from Fabio, but also really good from Franco. And yeah, it's a shame he couldn't finish the race. No idea, the engine stopped, so let's see what's going on. But second victory, they cannot take away that, you know.
Wilco, you're an old rider like I am. I think Fabio put a nail, one more nail in the coffin of the battle with Maverick. Do you agree?
Yeah, for sure, I agree. But there are many races to come, and you know, here in Jerez, he loves the track. It's his favorite track, and clearly he was the best here. But you know, the championship goes over many races, many racetracks, and we need to keep fighting.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, there's absolutely no doubt that the man that will be the least happy on the podium is Maverick Vinales. I mean, he's taken many a right hook there from Fabio Quartararo. He's been blown away by Fabio Quartararo.
Well, yeah, if that was a boxing match, the ref would have stopped it. Fabio was so in control.
Yamaha 1, 2, 3 for the first time since the
2014, yeah. Rossi,
so
Lorenzo,
Lynn
Smith.
Jarvis in the end actually salvages something.
Yeah, mixed emotions, of course, for Petronas Yamaha SRT. That man untouchable today. Franco Morbidelli cruelly denied the chance to fight for his first podium by ongoing reliability issues for Yamaha. Yes, on one side of the coin it all looks very rosy with Fabio Quartararo victorious, but there are clearly reliability problems. What a performance by that man, Taka Nakagami. That's his best ever finish in the MotoGP World Championship, just his second top six. What a ride.
Fantastic.
No surprise to see Kawata-san, boss of HRC, ready to greet the Japanese rider with his crew chief Giacomo Guidotti. But and headlines will all go to this man again.
Yeah, and they belonged, and you can see a shrug of the shoulders from Maverick Vinales. I'm fascinated to know where that all went wrong. You've annihilated everyone today, Fabio, and just Valentino Rossi, take a bow, please take a bow. He's one off 200 podiums. He's 41, and he's just battled his way through to 25 laps.
His first podium in 18 races. Fabio Quartararo, then the second youngest rider to win back-to-back races in the Premier Class behind Marc Marquez. Marquez versus Quartararo versus Vinales. That's going to be a tasty rivalry to keep MotoGP fans entertained for a few years. Look at this. He's mobbed.
There's life in the old dog yet.
There certainly is. The old warrior comes back to the party. There's Marco Bezzecchi in his leathers from the Moto2 race coming down to congratulate him. Brother Luca Marini does the same.
He'll be a gentleman, and he will mention Pecco Bagnaia. You can guarantee it, Valentino. Here comes Taka Nakagami, an outstanding ride. Everyone's getting a pat on the back, and rightly so after that. Alex Rins, the team are celebrating like they've taken victory.
Brent Stevens and Bernard Anschau, they welcome Rossi into Parc Ferme for the first time since Austin 2018, when he was beaten, of course, late on by Alex Rins. They're absolutely exhausted. Taka Nakagami can barely walk to his seat in the Idemitsu LCR Honda garage. Fabio Quartararo doesn't look like he's broken sweat. He looks like he could do another 25 laps, doesn't he?
This is good friend Tom there. There you see Rossi back in Parc Ferme. Just when you start... last week when he went out of the race and people thought he packed it in.
He's finished.
everyone's saying he's finished, he's gone, he's taking up space on the grid, and then he just sticks 2 fingers up to everyone and says, I'm back. Incredible. This guy is going to be difficult to get the smile back on his face, Maverick Viñales. What went wrong there?
Yeah, there'll be a rather an interesting inquest going on, certainly on that part of Yamaha. Valentino Rossi comes to congratulate Fabio Quartararo. There you go. The master. And the master coming, that's for sure, in the future. Maverick Viñales, what a fight those two had today. Rossi did everything he could to keep Viñales behind him. And just towards those last couple of laps, when Rossi made that mistake, Viñales pounced, but what a race that was. There you go, great scenes there. Valentino Rossi was 20 years of age, pulling up trees in the 125cc and 250cc World Championship when Fabio Quartararo was born. It's the old generation and the new generation greeting each other there in Parc Fermé. 21-year-old Fabio Quartararo with 41-year-old Valentino Rossi. What a race that was. Retirements of Bagnaia, Morbidelli through technicals, Binder crashed, Petrucci crashed, so did Jack Miller in the lead group, Aleix Espargaro and Iker Lecuona crashed, Miguel Oliveira out at the first corner. It really, really was a survival of the mentally and physically fittest.
Yeah, that wasn't a battle, that was a war, wasn't it? Right there that we just witnessed. Maverick Viñales, this is going to be a hard one to swallow. Ultimately, it's 40 points from 2 races to start the year off with, but it's the manner of which it's happened. That's what's going to be hurting the most. Razzle and Razzly, what have they got on their hands here?
Well, in 50 race laps over the last week here in Jerez, Fabio Quartararo has been absolutely immaculate. He has not made a single blunder. Picture perfect. That's why he's taken those maximum 50 points. That's the key. It just shows fine margins in MotoGP nowadays. If you make one small error, it gets punished. It's jumped on. Viñales then talking to his mechanics there. What's going through his mind? Not what he expected at all. Really, really felt like he had a great chance with Marc Marquez absent through injury, of course, to fight for the victory. Much, much closer than what he did. Ran wide, didn't he, again? Mistake last weekend at turn 13 on the Michelin soft front tyre was what proved costly. And it happened again today. Your heart goes out to the likes of Pecco Bagnaia and Franco Morbidelli. After their retirements when they were well placed. I mean, Pecco Bagnaia was long gone in second. There was no way Rossi and Milans were going to catch him. It's 199 career podiums then for the evergreen Valentino Rossi. He's with Simon in Parc Fermé.
Valentino, you worked hard for that podium and you made Maverick work extra hard for his. How happy are you to be back?
I'm very, very happy because it's a long time and we come from a very bad period with a bad result. So this weekend we start to work in another way. I'm very happy of David and all my team. We make it a good job. I was able to do a good lap and good start. And after the race was so long, but I'm very happy. Come back on the podium is, for me today, is not like a victory, but similar.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Yeah, tiring, long, hot and exhausting race of Valentino Rossi. Still got enough energy to pop one of his trademark celebration wheelies. Great to see him back on the podium, showing just why. Not ready for retirement just yet, is he?
Well, I mean, how much is that going to give him in terms of a boost, Valentino Rossi? I mean, after last week, people were thinking, well, will he actually call it a day before he signs any contract? But no, not now, not after that. And in the background, conversely, look at Nakagami's reaction. So hard he worked, just missing out. But he can be very, very proud of his achievement. Where's he going? He's going up to no one because there's no crowd here. I love that.
Awesome.
That is brilliant from Valentino Rossi.
Do like a classic mock celebration. Absolutely brilliant. Celebrating to the blades of grass. Coming in behind Valentino Rossi there is one of the heroes of the hour, Alex Rins. How on earth did he rescue a 10th place from a really, really difficult weekend? Second for Maverick Viñales, not what he wanted. He's in Parc Fermé with Simon.
Maverick, great point today for your championship, but I'm guessing second was not what you were aiming for.
Well, actually, in this race it was impossible to breathe. I went, first of all, in the first lap, I tried to overtake Fabio to take freeway because I felt very strong with the bike, but then I go wide and Fabio and Vale overtook me, so I could not do nothing. And then I was stuck behind Vale, could not breathe most of the laps. I was destroyed. I don't know why, maybe the hot from the other bike, but I'm completely done today. I could not make more. I was saving for the last 5 laps and I pushed at the end, went on a good rhythm again, but I mean, today I missed the first corner. If not, I think it was a much better race.
Thanks, Maverick.
Thank you.
Clear indication of just how tough it was out there today. Still now gasping and panting for breath, wasn't he, Maverick Vinales?
Just one tiny error from Valentino Rossi allowed Maverick through eventually, right in the closing stages.
They don't come much fitter than Maverick Vinales, and he was struggling out there physically. I mean, the heat coming when he was in that group said it was difficult for him to breathe. It must be horrible just breathing, inhaling just red hot scorching air, punishing your lungs. He was still struggling, was he, there to regain his composure, really? And he's been, what, 20 odd minutes or so after that Grand Prix, 15 minutes, absolutely shattered. They've put their minds and bodies on the line today, those boys. And what about this man, Fabio Quartararo? Back-to-back wins in Jerez. There's a new star in MotoGP. He's with Simon in Park Fair, mate.
Fabio, a lot of people made mistakes today. Obviously, it was really easy to do, and you, again, it looked like you made none. How did you do it?
Oh my God, that one was tough, because actually we normally every time we start with new tire from the grid, and today we decide with Yamaha to make, let's say, the warm-up lap, 3 laps to see if the tire was okay, everything. So happy. We make an amazing pace from the beginning to make the gap, change mapping so fast. So I was so happy because I make my pace, was really tough. When I arrived to 2 seconds, to make 4 was so difficult. So yeah, amazing feeling. What I can say, just thanks to my team, they did an amazing job. We work a lot between the 2 races. My family at home, for sure. My family start to be drunk right now to celebrate, but honestly, it feels so good to make back-to-back winning in the race.
Incredible, Fabio.
Thanks very much, Simon. Thanks to Fabio. Well, family were drunk last week. They'll be plastered today. 2 amazing wins for Fabio Quartararo in the space of 7 days.
He'd won 1 Grand Prix in his career before last weekend, and now he's a 2-time winner in MotoGP. And already a big favourite for this year's World Championship. There's confirmation of what we told you the first time. A single manufacturer has locked out the podium since 2014 at the Australian Grand Prix. Great day that, of course, was for British fans, with Bradley Smith on the box. This man's pure box office right now, isn't he, Fabio Quartararo? He enjoyed that one, although it was probably the toughest race of his life. When you're out front like that, it's just such a bruising test of your concentration, your focus, and he did not put a single foot wrong. That motorcycle was not out of line at any stage in those 25 laps, in those 50 laps of race action here in Jerez, to be honest.
For Fabio, it's joy. For Yamaha, that's a great result, but there's going to be some concern, Matt, about this engine situation.
100%. 2 races, 2 mechanicals, high-profile mechanicals for Valentino Rossi last week when he wasn't fighting for the podium. Franco Morbidelli, that was real cruel for him today. Did not deserve that at all, because he was going to be in that battle with Rossi and Vinales. Valentino, there'll be real mixed emotions, won't there, in the VR46 Academy. Joan Mir, absolutely soaking wet. He's probably had gallons of water chucked over his head. He's desperately trying to take some fluid on board as well. 5th place for him, and he was, what, only a 2.5 seconds behind Taka Nakagami. Good to see him. That would be a morale-boosting result for him. Well, there you are. The old and new generation in modern-day MotoGP. And here's your first Yamaha top 3 in the Premier class in 6 long years. Although you do have to have a little concern about those reliability problems. They're going to need to sort that out, because when it happens to Fabio Quartararo potentially, when he's leading a Grand Prix, well, that would be a PR disaster for Yamaha if it's not already, to be honest.
Good day for Alex Marquez. More that he's learnt. His pace at the end was quite good as well, under 20 seconds away from the race winner, and only in the end a couple of seconds away from Pol Espargaro.
Yeah, a lot for Alex Marquez to take out of that Grand Prix. Alex is doing what he needs to do. Seeing the checkered flags, gaining experience, gaining knowledge, gaining information, and crucially gaining confidence. Some great rides in that race, all the way through it. Quartararo was sensational, Taka Nakagami was brilliant, Valentino Rossi was remarkable as well. First podium since Austin 2018, mere 5th. Dovizioso does rescue a top 6, as he so often does after difficult qualifying sessions. Alex Rins, superhuman effort from him to be 10th.
Hashtag racing together as ever here.
You look at Alex Rins, he was 27 seconds behind Fabio Quartararo. Forget that, because Quartararo rolled out of it on the last lap. Rins finished 22 seconds behind Valentino Rossi in 3rd place. He was losing less than a second a lap to a man who finished on the podium.
Hero.
He shouldn't be able to do that in his condition.
Absolute hero.
Esteban Garcia and Julian Simon, 2 key figures in the Vinales camp, already trying to work out why it didn't quite work out for their man today. He said it was breathing difficulties, wasn't it, for Vinales? Just could not get that clear air. That's why he wanted to get in front. He said right from lap 1 he could feel like he was struggling. That's why he was pretty hesitant to get ahead of Fabio Quartararo, just to get some clear air.
Well, I wonder what the world champion made of that. He'll be watching back at home, and he'll know that when he does get back to business, there's one man that he needs to keep a very close eye on, and that's Fabio Quartararo.
Yeah, he'll want to be back pretty quickly, won't he, the 93, to put Quartararo back in his place.
Diego Ghibellini there just taking on some water, a key figure in that Petronas Yamaha SRT team. Of course, the crew chief too, Fabio Quartararo.
Podium celebrations about to begin then for the 2nd week in a row here in Jerez. And yet again, it's Razlan Razali, team principal of Petronas Yamaha SRT, who built this team from scratch about halfway through 2018. And here they are now, back-to-back victories in the MotoGP World Championship. The old warrior comes to the podium for the 13th time in the MotoGP category in Jerez, and of course, looking on is Razlan Razali. We expected an imminent announcement about Rossi's move to Petronas Yamaha SRT in the future. He's going nowhere in 2021. I think every fan around the world will appreciate that. Maverick Vinales, not the second he wanted, but 20 vital points for his championship. But the man they're all chasing, the man who's been incredible to kick off this delayed 2020 MotoGP World Championship, back on the top step of the podium in Jerez for the 2nd time in 7 days. It's flying Fabio Quartararo, the 21-year-old Frenchman. Here comes the Constructor Trophy then, going to Petronas Yamaha SRT. Their 2nd win of 2020, a maximum 50-point haul taken by them. Manuel Munoz, representative of the local Andalusian authorities. FIM President Jorge Villegas will hand over the trophy to 41-year-old Italian Valentino Rossi. It's his 235th career podium finish, his 199th in the Premier class. How long will it take before he makes it a double century? Great to see the doctor delivering a top 3 result yet again. 2nd for Maverick Vinales then, a 25-year-old Spaniard. That's his 25th podium in MotoGP. But MotoGP in 2020 has been all about one man. The race-winning formula found again by Francis Fabio Quartararo. His 2nd victory in MotoGP. 13th career podium, and he is your early leader in the 2020 World Championship. And we get to hear the Marseillaise yet again in Jerez.
Amazing scenes as he gets emotional once more, and who can blame him, singing along at the end there to Le Marseillaise.
To think we had to wait 21 years to hear Le Marseillaise ring out at the end of a MotoGP race. Now we've heard it twice in a week.
Hey, it doesn't get old. I like it as well. It's a great, great national anthem, and I think we're going to be hearing it a little bit more often. He's on top of the world right now, Fabio Quartararo.
That Prosecco will taste very, very nice after that hard 25-lap race. Those guys are not going to have worked much harder over 41 minutes in their careers than that one. Phillip Island 2014, as we mentioned before, was the last time we saw 3 Yamaha men on the podium. Great day for the Iwata factory, but there will be a few niggling concerns about their reliability. But Quartararo, Viñales and Rossi